A key detail here is I need my palm inside his knee like this.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about mount escapes, everything about mount escapes. So when it comes to escaping mount, I think that there's two escapes that are going to work at a very high level against anyone, and that's going to be the elbow escape and the kip escape. Now you've got a lot of bridge and rolls and all these kinds of things, and I think that these are basically, at a high level, only useful to set up an elbow escape or a kipping escape. So now let's take a look at these. So now, when you're in mount, okay, you don't want to leave your hands exposed like this. Of course, it seems obvious, but you don't want to let him get underhooked. So pretty much, if possible, you want to keep your elbows inside his knees. That's not always possible, but at least keep your hands close to your neck. You're always a lot stronger when you're closer to your chest. Now, our first way that we can escape is obviously the knee and elbow escape. So like I said, you got all these trap and rolls, bridge and rolls and everything. But for example, even if I grab his arm like this and I go to do a big bridge, he can use his other arm and just base in that same direction. Okay, even if he bases a bit further, now it's going to be real hard to get him over. So that's why personally I only really use the bridges. My favorite way to use a bridge, just going over that, is actually when he gets an underhook. So I'll bridge just to get my elbow back. So that's how we can get rid of the underhook. All right, so now let's actually look at escaping from a deep mount. So he has an underhook. All right, he's got a, yep, so it's nice and tight. So what I'm going to do, I always keep one hand framing on his hips. Now from here, I do a big bridge, okay? And it might not work the first time. You might have to bridge 2 or 3 times. But I bridge and I get my elbow back in. Once my elbow is back on the hip like this, now I'm ready to start using my knee elbow escape. A good opponent will cross his legs. So from here, I'm searching for the legs. I open them and I make sure my foot gets inside. Once my foot is inside, then I'm gonna hit like a hip escape. So first, I actually extend my leg and make sure my knee is under his foot. I come over the top, grab, and now my knees point to the roof. Okay, I push his knee back in, and now I'm in half guard with an underhook. You can get to close guard or you're ready to attack. Now, let's look at another example of a knee and elbow escape. This one is my personal favorite. So from here, he's trying to pressure me. Immediately, I have to separate the legs. I get my foot inside, and now I hit a hip escape combined with a bridge. Okay, and a key detail here is I need my palm inside his knee like this. If I have my palm pushing his knee like that, he can get an underhook, and now I'm back to square one. So we make sure that as we bridge, we're getting our elbow underneath our rib like this, okay? And now we're safe to push in his knee. So from here, we extend our leg, we get our foot over the top, we push and bring our knees to the roof, we get to half guard, or you can even come out and start attacking submissions from here, all right? So those are my 2 favorite knee and elbow escapes. Now let's look at the kipping escape. So the kipping escape is so amazing. However, the thing is, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. You'll feel like an idiot until you actually learn how to ride it. So sadly, the kipping escape is the same. However, these 3 tips will make such a massive difference to your success with the kip. Understanding these is what helped me start hitting it successfully. So first, I always need his weight on his hands. If his hips are heavy on mine, I can't kip here. I need his weight on his hands. So first, all we do is just a little bridge, okay? So now, his weight is on his hands, it's not on my hips. Second, when I bridge, not only do I want his weight on his hands, but I actually want his hip outside his knee. That creates the space necessary for me to start getting my knees in and kipping out. So once I have these 2 things established, weight on the hands, hip outside the knee, I put my hands on his hips. Now the third thing, I crunch in. 4th thing, I have to make sure that one of my knees is right under his tailbone. If it's above or to the side, you're just gonna look like an idiot and you're gonna hump him and nothing's gonna happen. So I need one knee inside his tailbone, and from here, my hands, obviously if you're strong, you're gonna bench him, but my hands keep him from falling and my legs make distance until I recover Ashigarami or single leg X. So again, so those are all the prerequisites. So just to recap the prerequisites, I need his weight on his hands, I need his hip outside his knee, I need myself to be crunched in, and I need a knee under his tailbone. So now let's just look at 2 different setups that we can do to get the kip. So first is obviously we can bridge someone, and now we've got everything and ready, but he's gonna push back into me, he knows that. But we misdirect him, we do it again, crunch in, kip, kip, kip. and we get it again. All right, so the misdirectional bridge is very useful. All right, and then another favorite that I have when someone's a bit lower and they're really putting pressure in on me is just a pendulum kip. Okay, so we're just gonna pendulum side to side. So guys, those are my two favorite ways to escape mount. Like I said, you've got the bridge and roll, you have all these things, but you may as well learn the moves that work at the highest level. So if you master these moves, you know that if you learn it correctly and you hit it correctly, it's going to work against anyone. I personally wouldn't like to practice a move knowing that if I do it against maybe some good black belt, it's not going to work. I'd like to invest all my time in moves that I know will work against anyone. And I believe when it comes to escaping mount, the elbow escape and the kip escape are going to be your best bets. I include a lot of useful details that you won't see elsewhere that are really, really going to make a difference in making these moves successful against high-level people. So if you guys enjoyed that, please subscribe. And also, if you guys like my content and my teaching, check out my school page. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.